go. So, Coach, looking back at last weekend, you guys competed at Notre Dame, a really successful weekend across the board. Before we even get into any of the details, just kind of give me your overall thoughts on the weekend.
It was an opportunity to go there and compete against some big teams. I mentioned last week that we wanted to go against some of the MAC schools and see where we rank up in person, not just on a list and online. And the athletes stepped up to that occasion across the board. So remember that we took to Mayo, went there with a purpose, and we were able to accomplish that and get some compliments from the top schools in the MAC. So it was overall a very successful outing.
Yeah, and some of the standouts, obviously sort of one of the highlights of the weekend was Olivia Bechtel breaking the school record in the 400. The women's 4x400 team also put out another outstanding showing after a few really good runs in a row. What can you say about some of those individual performances that really stood out for you guys?
Olivia's doing well right now, progressing well, and without even looking, I'm sure it reflects how she's doing academically. Everything's just working for her because of the work she's put in, and she's leading the group in a quiet manner, and it's helping those other runners. What wasn't shown in the results is that Calliope Cantori had a great weekend. She was actually pushed out. All 7 stones of her were pushed out to lane 4. And she still went sub 56 and probably would have broke 55 had she been able to maintain her position in lane 1. And so that had made an impact on our current national ranking, power ranking in the 400. We're just off the top 25, and we'll have improvements this weekend to kind of break into the top 15, maybe even the top 10 if things go well. But Olivia leading the group is something that we've been working towards for the last 2 years. Even as a freshman, she struggled just like any other freshman, but she was able to gain experience from each rep at practice, each race at a meet, and it's starting to show in her leadership qualities too. I kind of got away from your question, but by not talking about her every time I come in here, and to think that I won't mention her name every time for the next year and a half is foolish.
Yeah, so with those great runs, you guys are really well into the meat of the season now, starting to look ahead towards MAC championships. With so many runners, starting to run really well, a lot of PRs have been broken the last couple of weeks. What do you think your guys' standing is as far as, how much you can still improve this season, or sort of where you are now versus where you want to be, say, come MAC championships?
Well, improving, there's a couple of, factors that are influence the improvements of the athletes, and so the 400 meters and the 400 meter group on the women's side, Faith Baxter, for instance, just prepping for this meet this weekend at Grand Valley, I told her she doesn't have to do anything different to run faster because the surface of the track is better at Grand Valley than it is at Notre Dame, and then the curves are better for a runner at Grand Valley than at Notre Dame. So from a mental standpoint and a race preparation standpoint, she doesn't have to do anything different to improve. And so once we're starting to fine-tune those athletes, the facilities make a bigger deal. It doesn't really matter earlier in the season. It's nice, it's convenient, it might be less stress for the athlete, but we still need to get reps in, and we need to have some setbacks or failures within those races to work on and get better. And so we are in the meat of the season when you talk about if we get a different surface and wider turns, they're going to run faster. And that doesn't even come into play the idea that competition could give you a better race too. We don't worry about that until the MAC championships. So we worry about executing our races and our events the way we need to. So then when we go to the MAC championships, then we just go to compete. So we've rehearsed the execution, and we have that down as best as we're going to have it down at that point, and we just want to beat the person next to us.
Yeah, and you mentioned some of the differences about this weekend at Grand Valley. Obviously, you guys are going to be looking for some really good times coming in. Is there anything in particular that you coaches are sort of preaching or looking for from this weekend?
We are starting to implement a championship mentality style. So Olivia Bechtel's running the 260. So she's got a great mark already in the 400, a decent mark in the 200. Because of the surface and the turn, she's probably going to run a better 200 mark. But the 60 is something she's never done. So it allows her to relax a little bit and just go out there and be an athlete, which we all need that. But because she's running the 60, it's not her normal event. she's still going out there as if it's the first round of the MAC championships, and that's across the board. High jumpers today had a great practice because I started talking about that championship mentality, and yesterday our hurdlers had it. And so when things are going well from one practice session to the next, that's when big things can happen. And when you add in that the variable of a better facility with more friendly turns, like we can expect those PRs and build that momentum going to the MAC championships.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you.